Hi friends. If you want to check out a few more looks using the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Mothership 7 and her Ritualistic Rose Holiday Quad, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name is Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I am a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. Timestamps will be down below if you wish to skip over directly to the demo. I just wanted to give you an update. Yes, I am fully aware of the Star Wars collab. I need to relax because I already have a Decadence. Do I need another one? Absolutely not. While I am not a huge Star Wars fan, I respect the Star Wars culture, and I think that is something we all have to remember. It's like, even if you're not even a Star Wars fan, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, Star Wars has many iconic characters, transcend all genres. You know what I mean? Like the lipsticks and the packaging and the overall everything about it looks amazing. I have the date set for the 13th. I don't know if I'm going to get all of it. I know all of y'all are like, get all of it. I was like, you know, this stuff's expensive to buy, friends. So I'm going to try to save up for that date. It's the 13th of December that it will go on Selfridges the 26th on patmcgrath.com. So we shall see about that. But yes, I know and I'm excited and I cannot wait to see it in person. Hopefully at this time, the whole Natasha Denona fiasco has been settled. I do have a star palette review on the Q. I was hesitant in uploading it this week because I don't want it to be triggering to anyone, but I do have that on standby. I'm not sure if this is going to go up before that, but it is coming. I also wanted to do another Metropolis look video because with all this buying that's been going on, I now just want to settle down and use the makeup that I have. Maybe you guys also purchased a bunch of stuff and we could get back to look inspiration, how to and all that stuff. So with that said, I already have reviews on both Divine Rose and Ritualistic Rose. If you care to see those videos, you will get swatches and product details. This video is just to play with shadows again and come up with different looks than what I did in those videos. And with that said, friends, why don't you get in a little closer? I totally forgot to put my eye base on. I've been using, hello, no, that's the wrong way. That's better. I've been really liking the Shiseido concealer for my eye base. I feel it's not as thick as the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use. I definitely juggle between the two, but when it comes down to, ooh, this was the wrong color. This is 303, let me put on 301, hold on. When it comes to travel, I know this is a very small product for the price, but it definitely is very convenient to travel with just because it's a smaller size than the Too Faced concealer. But all that to say, I just really like the texture of this concealer. I feel it dries down fairly quickly and it just is a nice base for shadow. I gotta do these brows again too, friend, because oh my goodness me. Divine Rose, if you happen to get your hands on it, if you feel a little stumped, you don't know what to do if you're using only one color out of the 10, we're looking to also combine Divine Rose with Ritualistic Rose. I actually want to go in with Blitz, hold on. Oh, where are the shade names? Beyond Bronze. I want to do Beyond Bronze and maybe Extreme Mahogany. I think that'll be like a sick combination. I also need to pat down the concealer because Pat's mattes pack a punch, and I feel when the base is a little too wet, it's not the most ideal situation. So you could take your favorite loose powder, pressed powder, something that's translucent, that's not going to add any additional color to your eye prep, and very lightly. Yes, we're not baking on the lids, and I'm primarily focusing the powder on the crease area because that is where that matte will go and where it has a tendency to look grabby. There we go, not too bad. Now you could go in with this color first, But if you want a transition and you happen to have your favorite bronzer nearby, I happen to use this bronzer in my foundation demo video that I hopefully will be uploading soon. This is with my is it? Yes, it is. Number 16. You could put your favorite bronzer just on the crease to kind of start the look and to have just a light placement of a transition shade on there first if you don't want to use another eyeshadow. Good old Wayne Goss number 4. I feel like you're too far still. Oh, that's better. Extreme Mahogany. Make sure you tap off the excess and just start very lightly here on the outer corner and just carefully start to build. I'm using circular motions, very light pressure with the brush so we don't manipulate the skin, because if the skin moves while you're blending, the shadow could skip. I'm starting at the lash line and then pulling up to the V-point and crease, and whatever blending brush you used initially, you could then go ahead and blur out the edges of that application. There we go. I'm just applying a little more of the Extreme Mahogany. All right, I'm going to take Beyond Bronze with my finger. It's like a gel-like texture that's very signature to Pat, especially her special shades that are housed in this quad. I find the best way to apply them is with your finger. Now, if you're not about that life, definitely find a brush that you could apply this with, but do keep in mind you run the risk of the pigments falling off the bristles as you're applying it to your lid. And I just apply that on the lid and I pat around. Oh, that's nice. Taking my number 4 with no additional product, but I'm smoothing this meeting of the Beyond Bronze and the Extreme Mahogany just to make sure it looks a little more diffused. I love this already. This is a great like bronzy smoky eyes situation we got going on. But I'm kind of feeling a little bit of sable bronze. We could apply that on the inner part of the eye. Sable bronze is a lot cooler than Beyond Bronze. Sonergy Worker Pro. Just on the inner part of the lid, combining both shadows, and I'm stippling in and under the crease so it doesn't travel up too high. So we could create this really soft gradient from Sable Bronze to Beyond Bronze. And I think that's really pretty. Again, taking the number 4 and just carefully marrying all these shadows together. Nice. Rose Dusk with, again, my Sonergy Worker Pro. You could very well go in with Beyond Bronze under the lash line. Hello, you're gonna focus on me. And just make it an all bronze look. But if you're wanting to use as many shades as possible, as I like to do, I'm gonna pull Rose Dusk on the lower lash line here, taking Extreme Mahogany with the same brush on the outer third just to combine top to bottom. So you see how this is looking a little, it's confused. We don't know what's going on here. So I'm patting down and I'm actually going to go in. Sorry, I'm trying not to move so much when I'm this close. I'm going to go in with my Refer number 16 to carefully diffuse top to bottom and then pull it out from there. So I think that works out, yes? Now here's what I want to do. I want to go in with Ritualistic Rose and maybe place it here right in the center of my lower lash line. Taking Ritualistic Rose with my pinky. This is probably, besides this shade here, one of the most textured in the palette. So I would be very careful with how I apply this. I'm just tapping it right on the center and then kind of tapping either side to disperse it so it looks like I'm crying rose. Refine Gold 002 with my Refer Prototype Shader Brush. And that will be our inner corner highlight of choice. Using the tip of the brush to melt it to what's happening on the top and the bottom. All right, that is look number 1. Let's move on to look number 2. Wayne number 16 with Gloria. This is gonna be our primary transition shade. This is why I really like, especially with Pat's Mattes, to set the concealer or whatever creamy base you decide to use, because a paint pot has a drier texture, so maybe that's not necessary, but something like a P. Louise, or if you're like me, who uses concealer as their eye base, I find when it comes to Pat's mask, it's just better to lightly set it so it doesn't get so grabby. I'm just building this up. Oh no, we're running out of battery. Hold on. If we're only using one matte and you want to create a little more dimension, then take a tighter pack brush. This is the Wayne number 6 from his anniversary 2. Take the same matte shade and carefully pat down now on the outer corner to create a little more depth, and that's how we could create more dimension just using one shadow or one matte shade in this case, because the tighter pack the brush, the more pigment it will pick up, and especially if you pat down instead of swipe, it's going to lay down more product with that technique. What shall we put on the lid? While I figure that out, I'm going to pull this shade out a little more. Better. Rose Quartz 005 with my finger. Oh, that is the wrong finger. I always do that because we're going on the other eye. This is very textured, so I like to press carefully and then swipe from there, so we get the majority of the color on the lid. Oh, that wasn't a good idea. I just felt the Ritualistic Rose fall all over my face. That is why it's so important to press down first and then blend from there. So I'm just gonna carefully sweep all the casualties. Not too bad, we didn't do too bad at all. So this is how Rose Quartz looks with Veloria. I think it's such a beautiful combination. So we could do a couple of things. I actually want to take Lovelace in with my Sonergy Worker 3 and just pat it on the inner part of the lid. I think Lovelace is one of the most beautiful shades in this palette, and I think combined with Rose Quartz, it just offers up a really nice gradient. I wiped the brush, went in with Veloria, the matte shade, and I'm patting down around the edges because I actually want to put in a little more Rose Quartz. So this is the problem you run into. You have to maybe go in with this shade last, because since it is so textured, and I didn't actually put in more concealer, which is, I would actually recommend either that or a glitter glue just to ensure that these stick. If you happen to go over that shade with the brush, you will run the risk of the bristles just taking off the very top layer of it. You know what I want to do? VR Rose Venus with that same Worker 3 brush. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I want to pat that down between Veloria and Rose Quartz. I feel like it's such a cool transition between the lavender gray and then this duochrome and then Ritualistic Rose. I know it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Taking Ritualistic Rose again. It was all about the layering, friends. Ooh, I like that. We like lower lash line. What are we thinking? You know what? I could... I'm gonna do Veloria. Hold on. Just quickly brushing that in with my Worker 3. Astral Rose Orchid. This color is insane. I'm gonna press it right on the center over everything. The shine on this is crazy. And with these types of textures, you don't need a lot. Go in lightly. I actually went in with too much. I should have tapped lighter, but it's okay. We're gonna survive. Antique Gold 002 with my Sonergy Pencil Pro. That's gonna be our inner lower third party. Put in a lot of gold here and some of the Rose Quartz that fell from the top. But then, same brush with Iridescent Pink 003. It has a pink shift, which is what I would love to have on the inner corner. All right, friends, let's put on some lashes and I'll be right back. Here's the finished look, friends. Take a look at the lids. We have Ardell's Naked Lashes in the style 421. I love the bronze on top and the rose on the bottom, and this is primarily all rose with a little bit of gold. And here is how the special shades look, especially this one. Astral Rose Orchid is out of control. And here's a wide shot of the look, friends. On the lips, I have Natasha Denona's lip liner in L5 Antique Rose, topped with Patrick Ta's Silky Lip Cream in She's Independent. I know I'm only giving you 2 eye looks today, friends, but I'm trying to save my eyes for the rest of the week if I'm going to go in with more looks from other palettes. So do know that I have the demos from the 2 review videos. So we have quite a library here when it comes to Pat McGrath looks to begin with. Let me know if you still want to see more looks, but hopefully this kind of spurred up your inspiration with Divine Rose or maybe just Ritualistic Rose. And always keep in mind with these inspo videos that you don't necessarily have to have these exact shadows. Perhaps you have similar shades and textures that you could achieve the same looks with. I know this is not everyone's favorite technique, popping a textured sparkly shade right under the lash line, but it's one of my favorite things to do. I just think it spices up the look, it gives a little shine. I actually don't like glittery types of shades on my lids. I like to reserve them to the lash line, either right at the center or in a corner. I just feel it's a little more low-key chic. Extreme Mahogany with Beyond Bronze is just a beautiful combination and an easy route to go. We have both palettes. Here on this side, I love how we did Ritualistic Rose, we did the Astral Rose Orchid shade. I mean, we put a lot on the lid, but Veloria just sets everything so beautifully well with that lavender tone, and it's just enough to kind of still highlight the pinkiness of the shades. And again, Iridescent Pink 003 for the inner corner, it just pulls everything together. And I love the gold here on the lower lash line. So hopefully that was helpful to you, friends. Stay tuned for a lot more multi-look videos. Again, I want to dive into Metropolis again. I want to do the 10 pan palette from Natasha Denona as well. Let me know of any other requests. I'm looking to not buy any more palettes. I feel like I bought a lot for Black Friday, and I kind of want to show and use the makeup I already have. The Scott Barnes looks amazing, but I'm gonna have to wait because that palette is $84 and I'm trying to be a lot better with my spending. Who knows, if I made some extra dollars along the way, I could pick it up, but I'm gonna lay low a little bit after all the purchases I did make the last weekend. I would love to know how you've been liking Divine Rose and Ritualistic Rose, if you happen to have those palettes or any other Pat McGrath palette. And again, hopefully this video helped. And until then, friends, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another review, tutorial, favorites list, or get ready with me. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.